You approach the Shivering Isles. Through the door behind me lies the realm of Sheogorath, Prince of Madness, Lord of the Never There. It is a doorway, an invitation. Perhaps you will accept it for what it is. Enjoy your stay.
Despite the fact that Xbox 360 owners still fast-traveling their way through the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion have been given periodic updates via Xbox Live, all of the added content kind of feels like scraps thrown from the Bethesda dinner table. The dungeon housing Mehrunes Razor is pretty big, and the armor of the Divine Crusader is nice and shiny, but it's about time for an actual expansion. Available over Live at a whopping 993 megabytes, the Shivering Isles is a mushroom-hopping trip that would make Lewis Carroll proud. But will this wonderland make you crazy in a good way?
I'll calicrack the find-do. I will. You tear it at it.
Like all the downloadable afterthoughts in Oblivion, access to the Shivering Isles pops up out of nowhere. But instead of everyone pretending it was always there to begin with, the aptly named Strange Door is manifested by Sheogorath, the Daedric Prince of Madness. Passing through it introduces you to his manservant Haskell, who treats you with an eye-popping intro to this weird new world.
The Shivering Isles are a reflection of our Lord Sheogorath.
The fanciful island is separated into two parts, the bright and cheerful Mania and the dark and depressing Dementia. These areas are ruled by their respective royalty, a drug-induced duke and an obsessively paranoid duchess.
You're going to learn who keeps secrets, who conspires against me.
Your missions will either come from these certifiable heads of state or the other touched inhabitants who offer up several bizarre requests.
You got some skooma, eh? Right, buddy?
The story's greatest strength is that it gives you a fair amount of choices in what direction you want to take your adventure in, while the previous downloads have all been quite linear. The loony premise in Shivering Isles is inviting, and the citizens here definitely have a better sense of humor than the uptight peons in Cyrodiil.
Do you ever wonder why things look better without their skin on?
Can't sleep at home, you know. The walls, they aren't safe.
But the "we're all insane" gimmick wears thin after a few silly interactions. Haskell seems like the only character voiced by a new actor, and the dialogue tends to drag on.
You are here because you chose to enter. You were not summoned. If you can pass the gates of madness, perhaps the Lord Sheogorath will find a use for you.
The map of the Shivering Isles is about a quarter of the size of the outside world, with one major city split into the districts of Crucible and Bliss. The northern part, Mania, is covered in massive mushrooms and colorful insects. The southern part, Dementia, is full of muddy bogs and hostile amphibians, and it's usually raining. Bethesda has definitely made good use of the new material, providing an environment that is clearly unlike anything you've seen so far. Both of the opposite exteriors are equally eye-catching, but the dungeons, like those back in the mainland, have repetitive layouts that start to blend together. Thankfully, the game allows you to travel through the Strange Door anytime you want with any character. Considering some of the weapons and armor you get in the Isles is either more valuable or effective than the ones in the first game, it probably wouldn't hurt to check it out before you start the original story. Sadly, there are no new races or classes included in the new content, so if you aren't eager to try on a new outfit, you'll end up playing through the new content the same way you did the old.
I need a champion for those that have other ways into my realm. And they're on the move, and you're going to stop it.
As you might imagine, a lot of the quests might seem a bit backward at first. The denizens of the Shivering Isles will ask you to do some pretty kooky stuff, and while torturing suspects or driving adventurers insane is always a good time, your quest log eventually boils down to get this item, kill that bad guy, and return to the contact afterward. Returning heroes should have few issues adjusting to the unusual landscape, save for one problem. You can't bring a horse into the Isles, and there's no transportation provided within. It'll take you a half an hour at most to make it from one side of the map to the other, but once you do, you'll end up fast traveling the rest and skipping out on the peculiar scenery. Shivering Isles is available for 2,400 points, or $30 in the real world. That's half the price of the original game, and you'll end up getting about a quarter of the content. Anyone feverishly clawing at their 360 for more Oblivion will venture forth through this new dimension with a smile on their face. But once you do the math, Shivering Isles is just as overpriced as Knights of the Nine and the downloads that came before. And although this wacky head trip is an amusing distraction, hopefully the next expansion will take itself more seriously.